planes from Kansas City, Missouri. Flew in nonstop from Boston Logan this morning. Took the bus from the airport to downtown, which was about a 45-minute ride. The airport was kind of a little ways out, but $1.50 bus ride, can't complain. Been for about the last hour walking around downtown and some areas near downtown, just exploring, and that's what I'm doing right now, so come along. Another train. Seems like a big railroad town so far. I have never seen a sidewalk with so much bird crap on it. They must be hanging out on this building. Been walking around Kansas City for the last 5-ish hours. That's Union Station behind me, just south of downtown. Really big, historic train station. I've been to a lot of them, but that's the most historic train station I think I've ever been to. It's like part Amtrak station, part museum. It was really cool in there. Now I have about a 1-mile walk to the Airbnb that I'm staying at tonight. Gonna drop off my bags, then I'm heading out to a concert tonight, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. Look at this view. There's downtown Kansas City in the background, Union Station, that historic train station, in the foreground. The tall buildings kind of extend a little bit to the south. There's a couple of them down this way. Thoughts on Kansas City so far? I'll start with the airport. The airport felt like nothing had changed since the 1970s. It felt old and really dated, and it was laid out really weird. There were I think there were either 2 or 3 different terminals, but they were laid out such that each of them felt like a separate airport with a separate road to get to it. It was a little strange, but it was functional. It's fine. Certainly not one of the better ones I've been to, but it was all right. So the downtown is definitely modern and older, all in one. There's definitely a newer part of downtown with the modern high-rises. And that part of town seems to have a lot of people in it, a lot going on, a lot of people on the sidewalks, some restaurants and shops and things like that. Now this FedEx driver probably thinks I'm nuts. He thought that truck was empty. Anyway, there's a modern part, like I keep trying to say, and then there was an older part of town, like those old skyscrapers that are they're pretty historic looking. I think they're pretty cool. The City Hall of Kansas City was one of those old, tall buildings. And that part of town didn't seem to have too many people in it. The sidewalks were empty. I mean, I walked around for a good 20 minutes over there right when I got off the bus and probably saw like 5 other people. But I've rambled on long enough. I'll end it here for now. As you can probably tell, I don't have a car today. I'm renting a car tomorrow to drive down to Branson and then eventually St. I am on foot in Independence, Missouri. I'll explain later when I'm back in my room how this all occurred. But I'm about to go to the Silverstein Eye Centers arena for a Mercy Me Christian rock concert. And the reason for that is I thought it would be quite an experience to do that in the Midwest. And it's the only event going on in the Kansas City metro area tonight. But it was a challenge to get here without a car. I'll explain later.
Don't change a thing, 'cause it ain't what happens to me, yeah, that don't define me. 'Cause I hear hallelujah, will I be able to speak it all, surrounded by your glory,
just walked about 3/4 of a mile from the arena where the concert was back up to the highway. I did that because there's a gas station up here and I'm gonna grab some snacks before I go back to the Airbnb that I'm staying at. And because Uber will be slightly cheaper because I'm walking closer to the highway. But that's gonna wrap the night up. I'll do a full recap and fill in some gaps when I get back to the room I'm staying in. But I will talk to you then. It's the next morning. I'm on the way to pick up the rental car downtown, and I will talk to you more once I get it. Just picked up my rental car from the downtown Kansas City rental location of the national company that I normally use. And let me just backtrack a little bit, because in just a second I'm going to end this video and make today's adventures a separate one. But yesterday, Kansas City, I flew in, and I didn't have a car yesterday, relied on the bus to get everywhere, and it was the most difficult place I've ever had to get around in without a car. More difficult than any place I've been in Texas. It was just so spread out. The bus system was not real great. The bus system was okay, but it was kind of lousy compared to most, schedule-wise, and it wasn't a great bus system. I'll just leave it at that. And so that concert that I went to was the only event going on in the Kansas City area last night, and I had a great time. I'm glad I went, but it was a challenge and a half to get there, because it was about 20 miles from downtown Kansas City out east in the suburbs in Independence, Missouri. Normally you can take a bus all the way there. However, that required well over 2 hours and like 2 transfers, and I just didn't have time to do that, getting as late in the day as it was. So I jumped on a bus that was convenient, that took me almost halfway there. Then from there, when I got off the bus, that bus route just literally ended, because it was as far east as it went. So I got off, and I was just way too far to walk. I was still like over 10 miles away, so I took an Uber from where I got off the bus to the area that the arena was, walked around there a little bit. It was just like shopping plazas and shopping malls. I went into Menards, which is like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, but it's only in the Midwest, so that was pretty interesting. I like it there. And then I went to the concert, and afterwards I just took another Uber right back to where I was staying in Kansas City. Then to get to the rental car place this morning, I walked about halfway there, and the other half of the way I took the Kansas City streetcar, which is actually a light rail. They just call it a streetcar for some reason, even though it's technically is a light rail. And then I took that up from the bottom of the system at Union Station up to the top near River Market where the rental car place was. And that was the day yesterday. A great day. I enjoyed the challenge of getting around. It was a little frustrating because the Uber costs added up quite a bit. But it was a great day, and today will probably be another great day, and I will see you in a separate video.